Oh, interesting. Here's every piece of gear in an Army Cav Scouts loadout bag. Okay, well this should be good. Let's do this. This will probably be it.
My name is Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Haynes. Today I'm going to go over the loadout bag for Army Cavalry Scout, also known as a 72-hour bag. Army Cavalry Scout is the eyes and ears of the battlefield. We go out behind enemy lines.
Okay, these guys look like they're on like their basic training, right? Normally you have the helmet covers. The only time you don't is at like a school, in the schoolhouse. So airborne school, in this case, probably their Cav Scout school. You've got, yeah, so he's got the blue. The blue, I think, usually means like blanks. You can see this guy's got a blank firing adapter on. He also doesn't appear to have a plate carrier or body armor. He literally just has a vest and an old school canteen. So all this sort of says to me that this is like probably basic training.
And we report all information to the commander so that the ground commander can make the best decision to fight the fight.
Oh man, look at this. Well, now we know where the Humvees went to. These are old school, but good. It's teaching them convoy operations.
In the bag, you'll have...
Okay, so fun fact, the flag is always going to go on the right shoulder, and the stars are always going to face like forward as though you're carrying the flag. But below the flag, you can see what unit they deployed with if they deployed. So they will have this unit patch. In this case, he deployed with the 101st Airborne to Iraq or Afghanistan or Syria.
Some of your sustainment items.
Okay, so right now he has actually this is the Molly medium ruck. It's got, you can see it's got a light plastic frame. Oh my God, what have I done? What have I done? Where are we? Oh no. Yeah, Cav Scout. Okay. There we go. All right. Thank you. Okay, so he's got this is a Molly ruck, a medium Molly ruck. It's beloved in the military. They didn't actually have it when I was on active duty, but it's so popular that just among backpackers and hikers and hunters that it still like percolates down. You could buy a full Molly 2 ruck, right? The big one, the 4,000 cubic inch one, or 4,000 cubic centimeter one, for $50. To get this is like $250.
Such as your MREs, or your, also known as your meals ready to eat. All right, they all come in bags. You just open up the bag and you can eat however you need to.
Right. So, yeah, you definitely want to have food, right? This is the number one. Yeah. So you want to make sure you have water, which he actually has on his person, right? He's got water. Then he's got obviously food. That's your next priority.
You have a preference of MRE?
Beef shredded barbecue sauce.
Oh, interesting. Yep. So this patch here, this pumpkin patch looking thing, that denotes him as a drill sergeant. So yes, he is their instructor in this Cav Scout course. Almost always drill sergeants are highly selected. It's a very prestigious assignment to be selected for. Yeah, and you see he's also not rocking his plate carrier, but he has an aftermarket vest that's looking pretty nice. It may be aftermarket. It may be standard issue. But you can see he doesn't have a canteen in his canteen pouch, but he has what looks like a water bottle right here. He may also, in this, have a hydration bladder.
Why is that your favorite?
Because it comes with an awesome cookie.
Okay, you see this guy's got an ACU helmet cover that's put on... May not be... No, I think it's put on correctly.
Really good cookie. And then in my other pouch that I always have ready to go, I have my map markers. It allows us to draw out the graphics for all the operational portion of the mission. This is just basic notes, so if I ever forget my form.
Yeah, so interesting. It's oh, interesting. It says the Army Recon course. So they probably issued this to him when he completed his Army Recon course. And yeah, reconnaissance on the battlefield is a huge deal. And the reason it's actually, so Cav Scouts do it, specifically route reconnaissance. As an MP, we are actually trained to do that as well. And for us, route reconnaissance is really tough because you have to tell the commander not just is this route drivable, but what vehicles can drive on this route. So you will answer questions like, could a tank drive this route? Could 2 tanks side by side run this route? Could a vehicle run this route? What are the hazards along the route? What are the choke points? What are the intersections? You also can do things like, what is the gradient of the route? Again, think about like if you have to ship like a flatbed tractor trailer or a truck full of diesel fuel, right? They can't climb beyond a certain grade. So you have to know how to estimate gradients. You can actually do it by having people walk out in front of you and you stand somewhere and you know their height and you can finagle the gradient of the road that way. So reconnaissance is a serious business.
Formulas, it's just something to have all my formulas in. Has my range cards, all my, just don't forget stuff.
Yep. You see formations, order of movement, right? He's got his, looks like his wedges. So these are like squad formations and order of movement. You see, look, Overwatch. Yeah, we talk about how to do an Overwatch and bounding and Overwatch.
And then in my Ziploc bag.
Yeah, and waterproofing everything is essential. I mean, you can see it rained very recently here.
I'll usually have my graphics. I keep it in a Ziploc bag, so if it rains, it doesn't get destroyed by the moisture.
Yeah, what's funny is that, and I don't know if it's me, the military guy in me, this is exactly how my backpacking gear is laid out. My maps, all my navigation stuff and all my fire stuff goes in a secure Ziploc bag, so it doesn't get destroyed. I generally don't. I'll sometimes take a pen and paper just because being able to draw, write a message, anything like that has utility in an emergency.
So this right here is what a basic map would look like with some graphics.
Yep, so you can see the red denotes enemy locations, and NAI stands for Named Area of Interest. Those are when your commander says, hey, I as the commander have real questions. For example, here's Phase Line Yorktown. He may say, hey, I'm really worried about where Phase Line Yorktown meets MSR Cobra, right? And so he'll name it. He'll say it's a named area of interest. We want to know if enemy formations go north of Phase Line Yorktown. So a Cav Scout will sit there and they'll be like, hey, listen, Cav Scouts, we want you guys to keep eyes on this and tell us if enemy formations move past here. Similarly, right, you've got, so this red thing denotes that enemies are known in these locations. The 3 dots denotes a platoon. So it says there's 2 platoons of enemy and then 2 squads. So probably a total of 3 platoons of enemy in this AO. And this is probably their last known locations. These graphics actually, this like squiggly line, I think it means screening. So I think it says that they think this platoon, this enemy platoon of, looks like infantry, is doing a screening operation between these 2 routes.
These are your NAIs, your enemy positions, the routes, and the boundaries. I got my Protractor, so when I need to get grid coordinates or I need to plot my directions, I can know how far I need to go with the Protractor.
Yeah, so the Protractor, unfortunately, is the Protractor only works with a military grid map, and that's what those triangles are. They help you denote distance, and it can be easy once you know how to read it. But it's just different from lat long. It's a special, unique to the military way of communicating coordinates. But it can be annoying because civilian coordinates are done in lat long, and so like when I would navigate using like All Trails or another like digital mapping platform, distances you just have to like estimate with the legend.
Yeah, there's a lot of math with a Cavalry Scout. You got to know the radius of the curve, the grade of the slope. Next would be calculator. This right here will allow.
Yeah, if you can know a curve, yeah, you can do, if you're able to do a little math, you can learn a lot about where you are, where the enemy is, the distance between locations. You can really flesh out a map a lot if you're able to have a compass, shoot some angles, and get some measurements, right? Think about it. If you know where you are, when they talk about triangulating a position, this is what we're talking about, right? You know where, if you don't know where you are, but you know the azimuth to 2 points, then you can actually calculate, work it in reverse, and figure out exactly where you are on a map.
Allow us to rapidly get the correct answer. Then I have your notepad and pen, so you can copy down reports and you can receive all the information that comes through the radio. Then you'll have your nightlight with red lens.
Also something that is a staple of every backpacker.
You have to use red lens at night because white light will travel further than red lens. That way you're not detected, because as a cavalry scout, you got to move undetected behind enemy lines. And then
yeah, so Cav Scouts, I mean, everybody loves being undetected behind enemy lines. I mean, the answer is yeah, they're heading up, moving ahead of the main force, doing some like reconnaissance.
you'll have your extra batteries for the headlamp, because again, this is a 72-hour bag, so you have to ensure that you can sustain yourself for 72 hours.
Fun fact, you need a lot more water for 72 hours.
Then you got your face paint. This is what you'll apply onto your face, your hands, your neck, your ears, everywhere. That way you are not detected so easily. And then you have your compass. So it gives you...
Yep, if you can learn even to work a basic compass, yeah, maybe I will do that. Maybe I will do like land navigation, tactical land nav for civilians, right? Like, I think that's actually pretty important.
Your direction in degrees and mils. And then there's 2 methods to hold this. Compass to cheek, the center hold method. So
I'm a center hold man.
Normally what I'll do is...
Because any civilian compass, even a DIY compass, right? The magnetic needle, even that's going to work with the chest.
I'll hold it up, put it up against my face. I'll get my degrees and I'll look through my front aperture, see what it's pointing at. If it's pointing at a tree, I'm heading to that tree. And the center hold method is just straight out in front of you. The black line right here tells you which way you're going.
Yeah, it's a really useful tool. Like yeah, if you know how to use it, you can really learn a lot about where you are and where you think you're going to be.
And then in the main pouch,
What a Pollo, you're right. This is the online tactical course. I mean, I was thinking about that. Like, there's so many, and let me know what you guys think. And if this shows up on the live channel, put it in the comments. There's a lot of tactical shooty shoot YouTubers, and you know, nothing but respect to guys like Garantham and stuff. But there's a lot of missing parts, and like being able to shoot tactically, especially just short range shooting, is like makes for sexy YouTube content. But man, there's a lot missing out. Like, look at this guy again. Here's a guy who you haven't seen anything. Oh, there's his hydration bladder. Okay. Nothing in here is about engaging the enemy, right? And that's how, like that's how almost every military profession is, right? An MP would have a different set of things in their 72-hour bag, but it would be comparably the ratio of engaging targets with your individual weapon to every other mission set is like, it's like 85-90% other mission sets and 15% engaging targets with your individual weapon.
I keep my E-tool, my entrenching tool. That way, when I gotta dig my fighting positions or if I have to bury booby traps or anything like that, I have my tool needed. So you extend it all the way out.
I actually keep one of these in my car, and it has been used numerous times.
And then you just tighten down.
You can buy them on Amazon for like an identical copy.
At the handle. And it looks just like a shovel.
Because it is a shovel.
It has some sharp and rigid edges, so you can cut down barks, trees, you cut down all that stuff so you can improve your observation post, your OPs.
Yep, exactly. So remember how we talked that a commander may ask their Cav Scouts, hey, I want you to alert me if the enemy crosses north of this phase line through this intersection. And so what they'll do is Cav Scouts will go out there and be like, hey, for 3 days, you're going to live in basically a little hole that you dig that's going to be really camouflaged, and you're just going to watch this intersection, right? And like, that'll be all you do. You're, a 3-man team or a 5-man team. That'll be it. They just live out there. So they'll use this entrenching tool to dig it, camouflage it.
Could that also be used as a last resort? Weapon?
It could in some sense. That's why there's another configuration that is this. If you need to, you could use it as a weapon if need be. I was just having this configuration and hit.
Yeah, you don't. The video games depict melees as being like lethal, like if you can get a melee kill, it's like a one stab and done. It's not.
Then you got your binos. You got your M22 binos. This right here allows you to see the enemy at a further distance and before they see you. You could.
Yeah, binos definitely essential. Something else that you should probably buy, like a more compact version of it. I would love to actually do a breakdown of this sort of stuff for a civilian.
Also use these binos as a cavalry scout for a call for fire.
Oh yeah, call for fire, baby.
This is where you call in artillery. This is your ASIP radio. This is what we use as scouts. This is our primary weapon, because if we don't have radio, we cannot be the eyes and ears of the battlefield. We cannot communicate. Communication is key as a cavalry scout. My hand mic, this allows me.
The ASIPs, I mean, if you're like, wow, this ASIPs looks like this looks like it belongs in the Vietnam. It literally is from the Vietnam era. Modern radios, you're gonna have an embedder, or you're gonna have like an embedder with like 5 different batteries. I mean, even in 2010, we were running embedders. So nowadays, yeah, you'll have even some other stuff. There's a type of SATCOM radio that's basically going to be functional wherever.
These who talk into the radio and listen.
But it's like, if you can learn on the ASIPs, right, every other radio is going to be doable.
I got my long whip antenna. This allows the radio to get the signal required. You can extend this antenna out just like tent poles. That way you can reach further with your signal.
That's true. Yeah, it's a $650 antenna. And
So,
that's the old one.
On the ASIP, the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure it has a battery. So the battery depends on what power on the radio. If you're on high, one battery can get you 8 to 10 hours. If you're on low, it can usually last you about 12 hours of battery. Put the cover on, secure it down. First thing I would normally do is I'd put the antenna in. You just twist it around until you find it straight.
Right. So you got to think 72 hours. That's a lot of battery that ASIPs needs. Yeah, it's one of the things that you're better off. Like, there's better technology now. And you could also work out a system where it's like the radio's only on at certain times, et cetera, et cetera.
And it just slides right in. And then you start screwing down. Once it's in, I do a little shake, because if your antenna is loose, you won't get good signal. Next thing you want to do is you want to plug in your hand mic. So inside the hand mic port, there's a little rubber seal.
Yeah, this is all just such a pain in the ass, and it's so much easier with individual embedders.
You do have to wet it before you get it on, because you need that rubber seal to be lubricated to slide correctly onto the port. You just push in and twist, and it just locks in. And then in my rucksack, I will have my wet weather bag. The wet weather bag prevents all my...
Yeah, this is another... Don't be... Yeah, this is another, like, classic. So I actually, for years, had this... All my car, car emergency kit was in one of these bags. They're just a big rubber bag, but a trash bag is going to do the same thing, but be way lighter weight. Again, civilian backpackers have gone over the trash bags.
Uniform pieces from getting wet.
But the appeal is not like rain can still get in the top a little bit, but the nice thing is when you like put this down on wet ground, it's not going to soak through and ruin everything.
Thing from spilling out, so it's not a mess in my bag. So in my bag, I always have extra boots, because as a cavalry scout, you will walk a lot. So you
yeah, I think extra boots are probably overkill. Also, interesting, tan.
Always need a pair of boots. I'll have extra uniform.
Also probably a waste. For 72 hours, an extra pair of boots, waste of time.
Always set up, ready to go. So depending.
This might be for like training privates in the field where he always has to look professional, but 72 hours, I would not carry an extra uniform.
On the temperature, I'll bring out seasonal gear. So
yes, warm weather gear, cold weather gear, rain gear.
I'm
yes.
sure I don't get sick or cold, or in some cases wet if it's rainy. These are my waffle tops and bottoms.
Waffle tops worth every penny.
So my thermals, as everybody knows them. I'll have extra t-shirts and I'll have extra socks.
Yes, extra socks. That's actually appropriate amount of socks for 72 hours, truly.
Again, as a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout, I'll be using a radio as my main weapon. But this will be my alternate weapon in case the enemy gets too close. The M4 is a 5.56 millimeter magazine fed gas.
You see, literally, it's all in blue, and he's got the magazines labeled so that people don't steal them.
It's operated semi-automatic or fully automatic handheld shoulder fired.
Look at this. That's a hefty
Weapon.
man. Oh, he may just look that way. He may just be a bigger guy, but he may have a
When all this is packed back
vest on.
into operational configuration, it is approximately 30 to 35 pounds. This is all the bare minimum stuff I will have in my pack at all times. I can always add to depending on my mission, but for just basic everyday I would use.
All right, well, that was actually pretty interesting, guys. Yeah, I should probably do one of these myself, huh? As Collins asked, any tips for avoiding blisters? You just got to ease yourself into it. You just got to put miles on your shoes. Don't do a big march on new boots, right? Break in your boots, break in your shoes. Other than that, you want to carry Moleskin with you. I carry Moleskin in my backpack. Yeah.
So I said, no, it was supposed to be my pentakill. Why did you do that to me? I killed, I don't know what